This is HI before AI, human ingenuity before artificial intelligence. A century before photo editing programs, people believed cameras could photograph ghosts. What began as a grieving family's keepsake became a global movement claiming to show actual spirits on a photo. And the story only gets stranger when it reaches Canada. Spiritualism didn't begin with photography. It began with grief. In the 1840s, high child mortality and shifting religious beliefs left families desperate for comfort. Then in 1848, two of the Fox sisters, Kate 11 and Maggie 14, who were born in Canada but later moved to the US, claimed they could communicate with the dead through mysterious rappings. What started as a trick in their Hydesville, New York cabin to scare their mother quickly spread through word of mouth. Their séances drew huge attention, and soon thousands of people believed the sisters could communicate with the dead. That single event ignited a movement that spread across North America and Europe. Spiritualism wasn't fringe, it was mainstream. Presidents, scientists, authors all embraced it. People didn't just want to remember the dead, they wanted to talk to them. In 1855, Kate Fox visited the famous Canadian author Suzanna Moodie at her home in Belleville, Ontario. This meeting had a profound impact on Moodie, who was initially skeptical but became captivated by the experience. Deeply impressed by Fox's clairvoyant abilities, a grieving Moodie and her husband John engaged in séances to communicate with deceased relatives. William Lyon Mackenzie King, Canada's longest-serving Prime Minister, was also deeply involved in spiritualism for most of his life, a fact he kept secret from the public until after his death in 1950. He frequently met with his fortune teller and medium, Rachel Bellini and Henrietta Etta Reet, to communicate with his deceased mother, political colleagues, and pets, seeking a guidance for both personal and state affairs. When daguerreotype photography arrived in 1839, photography became a new tool for mourning. These photos were not seen as morbid, often designed to look as if the deceased were sleeping. Post-mortem portraits became common, especially for children. For many families, this was the only photograph they would ever have. Photography preserved memory and softened loss. Long exposures when taking photographs meant that the dead were often seen more sharply than the slightly blurred living because of their lack of movement. Then technology changed everything. Glass plate negatives made accidental double exposures easy. As camera technology emerged in the 19th century, early images often captured something strange, a ghostly figure. This was because taking a photo required a long exposure. If someone moved in the frame, they left an impression or accidental double exposures. Some photographers realized those accidents could be profitable. In 1862, Boston photographer William Mumler produced the first spirit photograph, showing a living sitter with a ghostly figure behind them. The timing was perfect and tragic. The American Civil War was killing soldiers by the hundreds of thousands. Grieving families wanted proof their loved ones still existed. Spirit photography exploded. Even after Mumler was put on trial for fraud in 1869, demand only grew. Despite repeated debunkings, spirit photography became a worldwide phenomenon. In England, Fred A. Hudson and William Hope built thriving businesses, and one of their biggest supporters was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes. Doyle wasn't just curious, he was convinced. He believed spirit photography was scientific evidence of life after death, and that belief would eventually bring him to Winnipeg. This is where the story becomes uniquely Canadian and uniquely strange. Winnipeg's reputation as a supernatural hub was cemented by the sheer volume and bizarre nature of the Hamilton's findings. Dr. T. G. Hamilton, a respected physician, treated seances like laboratory experiments. He had controlled conditions, multiple synchronized cameras, detailed logs, hundreds of sitters. The Hamilton family fawns contained over 700 photographs depicting ectoplasm through which the faces of the deceased allegedly manifested. In 1923, Doyle traveled to Winnipeg specifically to see Hamilton's work. He witnessed table levitations, heard rappings, and received messages allegedly from Robert Louis Stevenson. He declared Winnipeg a psychic center. But not everyone believed. Harry Houdini, the world's greatest escape artist, spent his final years exposing fraudulent mediums. He spent his later years as the scourge of fake spiritualists. He performed in Winnipeg in 1923, clashed with the Hamilton Circle, and then debunked Mina Marjorie Crandon. In Montreal, in 1926, he lectured at McGill University on spiritualism fakes and recreated fraudulent séances on stage. After his McGill lecture, a student punched Houdini in the abdomen before he could brace. His appendix ruptured. He died on Halloween night a few days later. Spiritualists claimed it fulfilled a curse. Historians called it a tragic accident. Even after Houdini's death, the story didn't end. The Hamiltons claimed to photograph Houdini's own face in ectoplasm in 1932. To this day, annual Halloween seances still take place, trying to hear from Harry's spirit. Spirit photography began as grief, evolved with technology, and became a global obsession. And in Canada, especially in Winnipeg, it became something even stranger. A place where science, belief, and deception collided in front of the camera. Today, many people believe cameras accidentally capture spirits in the form of orbs. What do you believe? This is HI Before AI. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider watching some of our other historical videos.